Guys, welcome back to another podcast of Tycho Talks, here with Shiloh and Nathan. Funny story, we actually did this last week.
Yeah.
And we found out that it wasn't recording. Halfway through, actually it was less than halfway. It was like 10 minutes that we had recorded and then it just cut out. So thank you guys for coming back. That's just the thing with like the journey of entrepreneurship, you know?
Yeah.
It's unpredictable, you just have to adapt. So here we are, looking forward to this podcast. We're obviously going to be talking about, your business and how it's, how you're going with it, how it can impact young Australians and people around the world. But I mean, Luke, tell us a bit about who you guys are and your business.
So pretty much we started off as not doing anything particularly, trying to start a business or anything, but we wanted to help young people out.
Nice, yep.
And yeah, it was just going along that journey of people in Australia, particularly for VCE and stuff, and trying to help them.
Yeah, just finding certain groups and stuff that need education support throughout education systems, uni, high schools. And yes, giving them resources that they would receive from private schools particularly, but for cheaper funds.
Yeah, so we essentially want to help people get a higher score, higher ATAR, get all the resources they need to get that score without having to pay an unbelievable fee or having to go to a private school to get that chance. Nice.
So tell us, let's break it down a little bit more.
Yep.
So tell us about the business itself.
Yep.
So what's the business called? We'll get a bit more into why you started it in a second, but just like if you could summarize the business in like a sentence, like how would you do that?
Helping people who don't usually fit into the system of academic learning or, there's a fault that people need help with.
Nice. Okay, cool. And this comes down to what was your experience, either of you, in school, year 12, where you're like, there's actually a gap in the market. There's, the school system is teaching kids in one way and one way only, and maybe this is not the best way to go about it for every single kid because we're all different. We all have different learning styles. So what was your experience and why did it motivate you to look at something like this?
So for me particularly, throughout VCA, I had a lot of problems with not feeling like I was getting enough resources or enough knowledge, or there was too many scrappy tasks in between, and I thought there was a gap in the system. And then I got into uni early, and then I also thought, far out, there's another gap in the system throughout all education services. So then, me and Nathan ended up finding Insightful Forecasts, like creating it, and found we can provide things for people that will help them.
Nice.
Yeah, essentially, and particularly for me in year 12 exams, pretty much all you're trying to get is that exam, that final ATAR score, how to get full marks. So we try to provide a resource which just directly does that for someone. You don't have to use extra resources or learn a different way. There is something there which you can learn, you can do other plans and personal learning. But the actual resource itself, you got sample questions and everything, expert breakdown, so you eventually fully understand.
Yeah, nice.
So,
and I guess there are two ways of looking at this business. There's one, which you just mentioned, where it's a direct, as in there are some kids out there who just need a pass or who just need a certain ATAR. And then on the other side, on the flip side, there are people like me where it's like during my schooling years, I just needed to pass. But then as I got older, I realized that I actually enjoy learning in general. And there are ways to help me on that journey. As in, I enjoy reading personal development books, but maybe there's a way or an AI system or whatever that can help me actually break it down and understand in a bit more detail for me to grasp it a bit better. So there are two ways, but you're pretty much saying that, if there are kids out there who, just need a pass or just need to understand the certain subject a bit easier, can utilise this?
Yeah, so for VCE, the resources we have, they're designed for you to get the best score possible and learning in the shortest time possible. That's for the VCE resources. However, for the uni stuff, like Degree Dynamo, we try to make it more summarised, we can give examples, and we actually try to help people learn and absorb the information. So, for example, if you like reading or doing something, you can do all this kind of stuff with it, summarise it, relate it to your life or relate it to something going on or scenario.
Yeah,
so,
cool. Nice. And I do want to go into a bit more detail on like how it actually works, like how you guys can help different types of people. But let's talk about like AI and the future of AI, because you guys utilise AI, correct?
Yep, correct.
So I want to hear from both of you, where do you think we're heading in terms of what's the future looking like with artificial intelligence at the moment?
Look, it can be really confusing because there is an abundance of resources out there for AI. There is no doubt it can do a lot of tasks, but it comes down to how do people, in Australia in particularly, or the countries want to use it. For example, if an employer finds out of a small business how to use it, there could be ramifications and redundancies for a lot of employees in the future to come. But it depends on how it's laid out, how the government lays it out, and a lot of contributing factors which can impact it. But definitely, I think it can change everything and can change a lot of jobs, do a lot of jobs, but it depends how it's brought out.
Yeah.
And it can also make businesses a lot easier as well. So per se for us, it's actually, and for all businesses, you can get all different resources and ways to actually assist your business with AI. You just got to give it the right prompts and ask for those particular things that you want.
Yeah, that's interesting because I really want to touch on that, the prompts, because a lot of people have access to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I know we've briefly talked about this before, but it's like, yeah, we've got all these, even Instagram now has got like some AI thing. Like a lot of the social media platforms are starting to integrate AI.
Yep.
But we're still not utilizing it to its full potential because we're not necessarily asking it the right things or we're not prompting it in the right way. And so it's actually really, really powerful, but we're utilizing it up to like maybe 10% of its capability.
If that,
more, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to touch on that, like maybe in a bit more detail? Like what's the difference between ChatGPT, me going on a ChatGPT and putting up a question of my examen?
Yep.
Let's say I'm studying legal studies.
Yep.
And I put in a question, what's section 21 of the Crimes Act or whatever?
Yep.
And how does that apply?
So essentially what these bots do, like ChatGPT and AI, they can give wrong answers, they can create stuff up, it won't even be real, it can use wrong language, it can do a lot of stuff, but it isn't necessarily the AI's fault, it can be the prompter as well. But then if you're going to be more advanced on, you've got to upgrade, do different AI systems and that. You've got to find and explore yourself where to find it. But particularly for us, so the difference is ours is all aligned with VCAR. And VCE, it is absolutely 100% aligned with all the standards, the marking criteria. It's human fact-checked as well, and ours has actually been approved and looked over by professionals in the industry.
Yeah, pretty much what you said. Because when we've done it as well and had experiences, if you pretty much have to be the teacher of the AI. You can't just put something in and expect 100%. You have to be very direct. You have to say no errors, none of this. Do this exactly like this. And then you get the task out. A lot of people mistake thinking they can just give a sentence and get something out and then saying, nah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important. It is like you also have to have the right prompt and the right AI system.
Yeah.
And it's not just one thing and it's magically done. It takes hours and hours of redefining and prompting and making it quality and ensuring it always has that same, VCAR approved, quality checked and aligned with all those values to make it perfect.
And that's what you guys have done on the back end, correct?
Correct.
I'm assuming that you guys have kind of cut through all that and you guys have created a bot that will give you like a pretty accurate response to whatever you need.
Yeah, so essentially we created a lot of bots at the start. That was a part of the phase at the start.
Yep.
And it did work. It worked pretty well. But then further on we had to do a bit more weirder when, like, for example, upload documents or use multiple bots at once and then make our own actual AI system with other stuff. And it was really hard. So, but it's more of a learning process. It's hard to explain, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you can start with prompting and ChatGPT, but then you've got to further accelerate yourself and figure out more and more.
I guess what I want to touch on is impact now, right?
Yep.
Because I genuinely see so much potential in this product and in what you guys do. There are so many ways that you guys can attack it too. There's just like the general audience of your youth in high school and university. You've got people with learning difficulties where you can actually help them. You've got, as we mentioned before, people overseas even, like in third world countries where this can actually accelerate their learning journey, right? So in terms of impact, what is the impact of this business that you got going in every single one of those categories? Break it down.
Essentially, start off, I think it has the potential. You can put it so many ways, but this does have the potential to change how people learn and attack VCE and education as a whole.
Yeah.
Not because of a lack of effort from teachers or the education system, but because you get straight to the source and do everything you need to do without all the other stuff necessarily.
Yes, and it's ongoing support, ongoing information, and the resources are unlimitless. You can, if people want more, they can ask for more. People want different answers, they can get different answers.
Yeah.
Like it's just
It's unlimited. So essentially, you could go and ask your teacher, say you need help. You can ask them to review your question. I'll get back to you in a day. Do 1 or 2 questions. I'll get tired. We have an unlimited amount of capacity, and we can whatever questions you want. It'll be perfect. It'll be standard. It'll be exactly what you're looking for.
That's actually crazy, because you actually touched on something else. Could you use this to? All right, I remember when I was in school. The dog's going off. This happens like every podcast, so it's fine. Everyone's used to it by now. I remember when I was in school, we would do a lot of practice exams. Mm-hmm. And in order for me, so I do a practice exam for English, for example. English is a long, like you got to write essays, and it takes a teacher a number of days to correct it and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it possible that you can utilize this to be your own teacher, to put it in and it actually give you feedback?
110%.
So instead of me waiting a
100.
week and a half for my teacher to get back to me,
Wait 5 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
5 minutes.
that's
Yeah.
actually crazy.
Yeah, you can put in a whole task, like 10 pages, 20 pages, and it will give you like a professional response, everything accurately done. So, for example, when a teacher marks something, like per se when I was in high school,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, you marked this incorrectly. So it's a human error that I had to find for the teacher. But when you put it onto this, there's no error, none. No human error, because it's fixed.
That's insane. I don't think people understand the
Yeah.
full potential of that.
Isn't it?
And also, it's not, sorry to interrupt you, it's not even about, like, you've got one teacher's brain who's marking it. This is, I'm assuming, taking into account, like, tons of resources when
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
you the feedback as well.
Yeah.
For sure. It can do unbelievable stuff. And I think people, it's a lot to hear and take on, but it's here now, and it's not a gimmick or a con like a lot of our online stuff. This is real, and this is how stuff can be done within society.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just something that people have to actually be aware of for even the future for themselves and stuff, because this stuff will end up controlling the world one day. It's everywhere, and it's just slowly coming out now. That's all it is.
And you're actually right. I mean, I'm a big believer in, you have to figure out what, like, you're no good trying to, create a business that's working now. Like, it's all about the future. Like when Jeff Bezos came and created Amazon, he wasn't thinking in terms of now. He wasn't thinking in terms of physical stores, which is the norm, right? He was thinking in terms of the future. Like, what are the next 10 years going to look like? How is the internet going to develop? E-commerce, right?
Yeah.
Same with crypto. I mean, when crypto first came out and people were buying Bitcoin for like less than 10 cents,
Yeah.
these guys who bought a ton of it were thinking long term. They're thinking like 10, 15 years down the track, what could the potential of this be? And now they're multimillionaires. So you've always got to be thinking ahead. I guess with this, I mean, you're absolutely right. People need to start utilizing this to just make their life a bit easier.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, stop doing things the old way, or what's normal now. Start thinking about the future.
Yeah, look, there's a way to achieve what you want to achieve, if it's academic or university, and we can provide that for you, essentially, and we can help you. But look, it's hard to explain, but the future is changing, and AI will most definitely impact that. On every front you could think of. So if you can be adaptable and think of what's coming and try to look into the future, and see pain points, that's all you can really ask for.
For sure. And you touch on pain points, which is so important. Pain points, like in sale, they call it pain points. In human relation building, like relationship building, you could say like what are like their needs?
Yeah.
Like, what are their needs?
Yeah.
With this, I mean, you've obviously found a gap in the market, because I think that there's a massive gap in the market. I think the education system is broken. I think it's been broken for a very long time. When you have an education system that has not changed much, can't even speak, when it hasn't changed much in 30, 40 years, like, it's still very similar, except for now we have like electronic whiteboards or whatever, that's an issue.
Yeah.
Like, things are changing. If you think about the iPhone, this thing here, sorry, I thought I put it on silent. This thing here has changed dramatically in like a number of years, and you've got the education system that hasn't changed in 50 years.
Not at all, really.
So how do you guys think something like this is going to help, especially people who don't learn in the same way that your normal, child might learn?
We can provide personalised learning plans. So we can analyse, so if someone needs specific help with certain subjects in certain areas, we can specify what areas, we can analyse and break them down, provide it to them in ways that the school wouldn't do so. So if someone's struggling with the question and then giving a detailed response, but they're fine with everything else, we can give heaps of that, or vice versa for other questions or other difficulties.
Yeah.
And then internally, say that individual has a learning difficulty or a strength or a weakness, we can actually apply a learning style or approach to the question or what we're doing for that person so they can learn more effectively and easier for them to understand.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's actually, I don't think people understand how much of a deal that's a big deal.
Yeah,
for your program to be able to identify like someone's learning, and simply by just doing a quiz. Like if you had someone do a quiz, you'd figure out very quickly, are they a visual learner? Are they, is it what they hear? Is it what they just like read and write out? Is
That's
it a repetition thing?
I personally think is very broken in the education system, because if you think about how it works at school, everyone's supposed to be the exact same and get the exact same like high result, but people are either visual learners, audio learners. Like everyone learns differently and prefers it, and everyone's expected to learn the same way in test conditions at school.
Yep.
Which aren't good. But if we provide questions and stuff that can help, then that's all we're wanting to do. It's just about reaching out, pretty much.
Yeah. Something else is like, you actually have a lot of young kids, youth, who actually think they're a lot dumber than they are because the education system is like just. It's set and it's programmed to help one type of learning.
Yeah, it is.
Right? And so you've got people who, they're actually quite smart. I was never book smart. I was always street smart. But maybe if I had this, I would have not felt as dumb, because maybe I would have learned and picked up things a lot quicker instead of by going on this. And like legal studies is one of my favorite subjects, and psychology, for example. I had a lot of friends who could just read it and then write it out, and they'd understand it straight away.
Yeah.
I had to read it over and over and over again to understand what the hell the question was even trying to tell me.
Yeah.
And so if I could put it in this and be like, whatever prompts you guys have or bots you guys have, like explain it in a way for a visual learner, or like, can you do something like shoot out images? Can you do images yet? Or
Yeah.
you can?
Yeah.
Okay. But do you get what I'm saying with where I'm going with it?
Yeah.
Where you could actually make me feel like, actually, it's not that I'm dumb. It's just that I'm not able to understand it in that way.
Yeah, look, it's true. I had difficulties as well. I really did in early education. But what a thing is you have to understand is about the education system is it's not designed for you to learn quickly or effectively or whatever way which suits you. Yeah, it's designed for you to go over time and to live a life. And then think about the courses even in university. They have a PowerPoint. There's maybe 20 slides a week times 15 weeks. They charge you $6,000 a class times 200 a year. So there's a whole monopoly of revenue being made by the system.
Yep.
So there is ways to learn better, but you have to explore for yourself, and we are here to help you to a certain extent to achieve your goals.
That's so big. What you just said, like, it's not designed for you to learn quickly and efficiently.
Yeah.
Because it's a money-making thing, right? And it is. Like, universities, everything at university, the car parking, the library, the printing, it's all generating money. It's all revenue, right? So this is what I find really interesting, because I was always like, when I reach financial freedom where I don't have a full-time job anymore, I'm going to go back to university and study what I enjoy. Not because I need a degree, but because I really want to be well-versed with like human behavior and psychology. So I was going to actually go back and study that. But I don't even need to do that anymore. I could actually take something like this, or a bot or a program, whatever you guys have designed, and just teach myself in probably a third of the time.
Essentially, yeah. Correct.
Without paying that much money, without paying like thousands of dollars.
You aren't paying for the skill at uni anymore. You're paying for the name, the degree. The skill can be learnt online, and you can do it all via technology. You can learn all these amazing things.
Yeah.
But so it can be done, but it's just you won't have that qualification, which is why everyone pays that money essentially.
That's so
a lot
true.
of the time.
Well, personally for myself, so I go to uni and I do law.
Yeah.
And exactly what Nathan said. So every lesson, 3 lessons a week, you get a PowerPoint for a 2-hour lecture. And you learn nothing. So what I do, I get all the information from the PowerPoints and I copy and paste it into my thing, and I'm learning more than what the class does, and I've got notes that the class don't have. So that's what I do every single class.
Okay, so Far out. Okay, and how are you? How are your results going? How are you performing in terms of those
good.
subjects?
Very good. Better than everyone else in regards to note taking and stuff and understanding. So, example, definitions. I'm getting 10 different definitions in every single language to understand from a whole entire context of the world, where people are just getting one context from a slide that they keep copying and pasting into all their assignments throughout the whole semester.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So
yeah.
I can get numerous different responses for the same thing.
Yeah.
I can get detailed responses.
Yeah.
I can learn more. I can be, this is my learning intention for the lesson. Can you please provide me evidence of what the completed learning lesson would look like? And it'll give me all the, just everything. I don't know how to describe it. It's just everything.
No, that's no, that's crazy. But how, like, in terms of your marks and everything? Well, actually, there's two things to this that we're not touching on. Your well-being.
Yes.
Because I can actually, I would not be shocked if you had a greater experience than some of these other kids who are stressing the hell out in uni.
Yes.
So
exactly.
you're probably a little bit more relaxed, a bit more in control. Your well-being is you probably have a healthy relationship with your studies.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people out there don't have a healthy relationship. Like, they stress, mental health issues, like it's pretty intense. So that's number one. Yeah. And then number two is, like, are you actually getting good results?
Yes. Very
So
deep.
do you want to touch on the well-being one first?
So in regards to well-being, a lot of the kids in my class, they'll sit there, look at the lecturer, rah, 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 just like the lecturer speaking, and I'll just be copying the notes, doing all my stuff. Mine will be done. I usually get 2 classes done in one, just have all my notes done, and then the other students will be sitting there, like, questions. But if I have a question, instead of relying on a lecturer, who, no offense at the start, it's like they're not usually the best, I'll just AI it, and I get an expert response from better than my lecturer.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, my marks are all good. I get everything pretty well. Might get a couple off, but
that's normal. Yeah.
Yeah, I always do a couple things on there that aren't just point. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't. Yeah, you're right. Like, you don't want to be getting 100% on every single thing.
Yeah. But I have the same problem as you, kind of, as say. So I have to read something 20 times before I'm like, okay. So you know how people have, like, definitions, terminologies. You read it, you remember it. I have to read it, like, over and over before it actually stays in my head.
Yeah.
But with AI, I've got a learning, like, plan for myself per se with my bot.
Yeah.
And it knows that for me, that I can't memorize things, so it will give me a lesson plan to learn in ways that I can remember it better.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you said that you've got your bot.
Yeah.
Like, where you've got a bot that understands you, that understands how you learn, how you process information. And I'm assuming that's what you guys can provide for people who need something like that.
Yeah. So they'll have their individual bot for themselves. Like, not for them, but it would be personalised to what they need.
Yeah.
So I was doing commerce and majoring in accounting.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, and the way they're teaching it, again, it's old, it's rigid. But what happens is we were able to create and manage and edit it, and eventually we made something that could do any accounting process following all the standards of the Australian Ethical Standards Board and everything you need to apply, the definitions of a product, how you can register it for tax, what it can apply for. It can do balance sheets, income statements. It can do everything a part of that system. So essentially, the account, we know for a fact now anyway, accounting is gone, but it can be done by machine. But it can also teach, and you can have it run your processes as well. Yeah. So yeah,
that's big. And you're right. I mean, we kind of touched on this previously, but if we think about the future, you're going to have a lot of industries taken over by AI. A lot of people think that your blue collar jobs, we're going to go first, like your trades. Is that blue collar?
Yeah.
Blue collar. But really, it's the white collar jobs that are actually going to start getting taken away from you, because we talked about this. I mean, you mentioned accounting. You're absolutely right. AI can replace accounting like that.
Yep.
AI can replace coding like that. AI can replace a lawyer's job like that.
Yep.
You don't need 10 junior lawyers doing the work when you've got a bot that a law firm will pay into a subscription for, and it's doing all the work, and you just need 1 or 2 senior solicitors who are reading, reviewing, signing off on it. You know what I mean?
This is why it's such a big thing. It is. We understand it is, but it comes down to how does the government and the international what's the perspective of it? How is it implanted? Because the reality is the economy will, a lot of people become redundant. The economy may fall because of it, not fall, but have negative impacts because of it.
Yep.
So they may keep people in their jobs as human fact checkers, or they have to have an understanding maybe of how, just a fact check the AI, okay, that's all good.
Yeah.
So that may be the future we're heading towards, where the machine does your work and you with your qualification can fact check it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But essentially, yes, right now it already can do all the jobs. It can already.
Yeah. Obviously, we touched on the future of AI, where we're heading. What else can you guys do in terms of this product? And, I know you mentioned something about property evaluation. So how can you guys help businesses or real estate or even just like the regular homeowner in terms of property evaluation?
What we offer is called personal property evaluation. So essentially, we've created a machine which can do your evaluation for residential properties, and it puts in a consideration all the international valuation standards, the Australian valuation standards, and all these things which you're actually required to as a real estate agent, licensed or not. Anyway, what we've developed is the correct valuation, a market segment, a rundown of what we can do, what your property is worth, the amount, like where things are close to you. So it can give you all these details on a property you're interested in or you're trying to sell. But what a gap in the market is right now, or not a gap, but essentially an error, is real estate agents. There's a little button you click when you're giving an evaluation, and it goes, follow the international standards or the evaluation standards, or B, the person's perspective, the licenser. So these properties sometimes can be sold for more than what the actual calculations say they should be sold for, not considering everything what should be considered. And these people can either upsell or downsell properties by not much, 2 to 3%, but it's still a lot when you're talking a house here. So if you're looking to buy a house or looking at a property, you want to make sure you're not being ripped off, or just that little bit ripped off, or overpaying. And it's a big thing to have on your side, to actually know the true value of the property and not.
Yeah, for sure. So you've got like homeowners that can just bypass third parties and just like come to you and have it. Go for it.
So instead of getting a real estate agent out, paying them $800, $900 to use their expertise, take 2 days, what we do is we do that within an hour, 2 hours, if not less. We can do that.
Yeah.
And then if you have an issue, for example, you want to buy a house, or your friend is, or you don't know the actual true value, you can actually ask us and receive this product within an hour or two, and it's actually the true value, and it'll be extremely, extremely close to what the real estate agent would say.
Yeah, so, wow. Yeah. Another thing we can touch on, and we can maybe wrap it up, is like opportunities for cash flow online. Like we know that a lot of people these days are making a ton of money online, e-commerce. What have you guys found so far with your research into AI and e-commerce and potential for money online?
A lot of processes will become automated. A lot of things which requires a human brain to think and problem solve, it can actually be done by an AI machine. And it's not a matter of if it's more intelligent. It is. It can be an Albert Einstein. It can absorb information better than a human. So it's not a question of how can we not use it. It's a question of what you can do with it, really. And it's the future. You can't deny it. So you can automate a lot of processes, sales funnels, marketing, copywriting. You can apply your business. You can say, like, for example, how you can use a certain strategy of a business. Here's mine. How can I apply it? And you can do a lot of stuff with that. Then for cash flow, you can actually make entire products with AI. You can really create entire products.
Yeah, the one amazing thing with it is there is no human error. So again, like AI does not do human error. So a human has to think about making a decision or doing a decision, and it could be wrong, it could be not right. But AI will go straight to what will actually benefit and what should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's it's big.
There's even more if you look into the niches. For example, you can find niches with AI for a business opportunity. Say you want to start one, you find a prompt, you find a niche, you look it up, see there's a lot of trending for it online. Then you develop a business plan off that with the artificial intelligence. You can use. It's more a matter of you have to explore it and be creative and dabble with it, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you'll eventually find your way, I think.
That's awesome. So if I had a business idea, or even with Tycho, if I came to you and I said, hey, look, I've got this idea with Tycho, we want to build it, we want to, put our foot into different products, whatever. Could you guys create systems for the business?
Systems, yeah, we can, yeah.
So systems, and it's like, would it be quite easy in terms of Like you have to do A, B, C to then equal
Yep.
sales?
Yep. It can do that 1,000%, and you can get really good ones or average ones or bad ones. It depends on what AI you use. That's where it's your path to follow, where you find a good AI.
And I could have a Tycho bot.
Correct.
That knows my business and
Correct.
knows what I have to achieve.
Oh,
Correct.
yeah.
It
My
can
target
even-
audience, my niche.
Yes.
What if I don't have a target audience? Can it help me with that?
Yeah, you can help it to identify the target audience. Here's my brand. Here's what I do. What kind of people? What kind of demographic trends? You can tell it to be an expert marketer, like a university, a major in marketing. Find a demographic trends, and bots now can actually go on up-to-date data, real-time data.
Yeah.
So you can actually analyze, depending on what bot you have, real-time websites, data. So it's all up-to-date information.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, very big.
We're definitely going to have a chat off camera
Yeah.
about a Tycho bot. That's crazy.
Yeah, because our insightful bot. So at the start, remember Nathan, it was had to put in the information over and over again for the first couple of months. But now you just type in
It knows us.
what's insightful doing with this, and it will just say it's this. It knows everything about us.
So-
and it's learning over.
So
us as
essentially, it doesn't. It's not alive, but it does have a consciousness, and it can absorb and learn information.
Yeah.
So if I start even telling this one particular one, it's learnt who we are and always responds to what we do, personalises the resources for what we can do
That's
and how we
amazing.
can help. So yeah,
That's amazing. I think that this is such a big thing that people don't understand the power of yet. For anyone who's in school, university, starting a business, wanting to get ahead, I would jump on this straight away. I'd get in touch with you guys,
Yeah.
like via Instagram, and we'll tag your Instagram and everything.
Yep.
But it's like, take advantage of this, because I think what you guys have done really well is, and where businesses become really successful is, number one, they solve a problem. But number two, they save people money. Number three, they save people time, which is pretty much everything that this can
Yeah.
do. It can save you money because you're not going to have to go to all these courses online to pay tutors, extra resources. I know in university I paid a lot of money for like extra summaries of subjects. I can bypass that. It's going to save me a lot of time. If I've got a bot that's helping me, it's cutting hours of work
yeah,
from me, and then even my lecturer's point of view or my teacher's point of view. And then the first one is it's solving a problem, which
Yeah.
it definitely does.
Yeah.
Right. So I think anyone who is in that boat, like where you're studying or you want to build a business, like definitely get in touch. Or even current businesses, like as you mentioned, in the property market, who want to know what the trends are, real estate agents, definitely get in touch. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Like it's hard because we're so young and we seem, not experienced or experts, but we have developed something which is far better than what a human can perform at.
Yeah.
And it's not a question of who we are and like what we look like. It's what we've created. And I think people should really consider that.
That's awesome. Any final words? Because I do want to. I promise you guys are going to come back like every month is probably a bit extreme, but like every few months, I want you guys to come back. I actually want this to be an ongoing partnership where we learn what you guys are doing and how you guys. Every time you come back, I want something new.
Yeah.
Like how have you helped people with
Learning
disabilities, like learning disabilities? Have you guys gone overseas and helped people in third world countries? Because that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Like forget about the money. The money will come. The fact that you guys can use this and help. I want you to think about how many kids overseas in third world countries can't afford an education.
Yeah.
And you guys can come in and provide them with an education.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, look, it doesn't just have to be us either. Like, these resources can minimise, make it more efficient, time consuming, as we've already said. So anyone who can learn how to do this overseas can teach people as well and help millions of people in third world countries. They really could if they wanted to. But yes, right now we do have the resources and we can tailor it towards Bulgaria, England, to whatever demographic it is.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yep.
Were you going to say something on that or not?
No, that was pretty all good.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Want to touch on anything we missed?
Just reach out, ask for help, email us, text us on Instagram. We're here. We're ready to help.
Nice.
Yeah. Everything's aligned ethically, legally. There's no error in it. So,
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I'd say like just I'd say for anyone listening, just take a chance. I mean, if it's not working for you at the moment, like if you're in school and it's not freaking working for you, do something different. Like take a chance. Like you've got a company here, a business that is obviously finding success in utilizing AI and making a lot of people's lives easier. Like take a chance and like reach out and just see, because you might have a learning plan that could reduce the stress of one
Yeah.
person by like 80%.
Yeah, look, you could save potentially hours of your life and stress, and make your whole week more enjoyable by just doing these resources or having these guides helping you.
Yeah.
So it's a big up.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. All right, well, thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We'll definitely see you guys in a few months.
Thank you.